has Canon found a way to significantly reduce the size of video files generated in the upcoming Canon EOS R5 Mark II and the Canon EOS R1? And are these files significantly smaller than those generated by H.265, as well as solving some of the performance issues? Well, in Canon patent filing JP 2024-057980, that was filed on October the 13th, 2022, and published April the 25th, 2024, Canon claims to solve the problem to enhance encoding efficiency by accurately generating off-screen pixels of a reference frame used for interprediction in zoom scenes or similar scenarios. And if you didn't pick up on the subtle language in the patent application, we're not talking about photography, but instead videography. Canon states that the Joint Video Experts Team, or JVET for short, has been researching a new video encoding technique to achieve not only higher efficiencies but higher image quality, and that's based on using the current Versatile Video Encoding Technique, or VVC. And one such technique to this new method involves introducing a new extrapolation method, referred to as motion-compensated pixel interpolation, or MCPI. Doesn't it just roll off the tongue? This method generates a pixel outside of the screen boundary of a reference picture used for interprediction by using a pixel inside the screen boundary of a different reference picture. This overall technique improves the encoding efficiency. So this patent application is all about a new codec, a new motion-compensated pixel interpolation algorithm that improves the interpolation accuracy of motion compensation pixels. This enhancement enables high-efficiency encoding without reducing the image quality. And higher efficiency usually means smaller and faster, although not always higher image quality. But the patent application's scope of details does clearly spell out that this does produce a high image quality, so we're not losing anything there. But the real question to you is why on earth am I doing a separate video on this new video encoding technique? Why is it significant? Will we see it in the Canon EOS R5 Mark II, the Canon EOS R1, or other Canon cameras? Well, let's back up a little bit here. Motion-compensated pixel interpolation is more efficient than H.266, which is far more efficient than H.265, found in many high-end cameras such as the Canon EOS R5 and the EOS R3, offers twice the compression of H.264 with half the file size. But motion-compensated pixel interpolation is even more efficient at video compression than H.265 or even H.266. Which means it can reduce the file sizes of video content significantly over H.265 and even H.266, all without losing additional image quality. And that's a bold claim, but for many of us, if we're shooting full HD at 1920 by 1080 or 4K 24, 25, and 30 frames per second, and if we're shooting in long op or IPB, well, we're not going to see a huge difference or a huge improvement to our workload, to our workflow. However, if we're shooting 4K at 120 frames per second in all-I in H.264 or H.265, or if we're starting to shoot in 8K or even 12K, well, then definitely this patent application could prove a huge benefit to us in our work and our workflow. Let's use this video as an example. It's actually 1 hour and 42 minutes long. I can export the video in H.265 at 4K in around 34 minutes. In 1920 by 1080, it takes somewhere less than 20 minutes. But if I do this on a computer without those H.265 encoders, well, the export took a little bit longer. So long that I stopped it after 25 hours. So back to the question I posed in the introduction. Could we see the benefits from this motion-compensated pixel interpolation algorithm in upcoming cameras such as the Canon EOS R5 Mark II and the Canon EOS R1? Well, it's possible, but even if Canon does introduce this into these two new cameras, I'm not aware of any hardware out there, any major computers from Mac or even a lot of graphics card that support this type of encoding. And if you don't have hardware encoding, the amount of time it's going to take to actually export these files in motion-compensated pixel interpolation or even VVC at this point, well, you're not going to get the benefits, so there's no point in actually doing it. You need it not just in the cameras, but also in your computer hardware. So until we start to see these benefits coming or these capabilities show up in Macintosh computers or the latest video graphics cards or even other embedded graphics in the computers, we're not going to see the benefits to this. And while it sounds great to have file sizes half that of H.265 is a huge benefit. all the videos that I shoot for this channel are actually exported in H.265. There's two reasons for this. It's quicker and more efficient than H.264, but also because the file sizes are half as what they would be if I encoded with H.264, there's another benefit. They take half as long to upload, and that's a big benefit. There's certain improvements to my workflow, and I would love to see more efficient codecs in the R5 Mark II and the EOS R1, but I just don't think we're going to see the support on the computer hardware side of things, and for that reason, yeah, I think it's a kind of a moot point. Now, in 3 years from now, or even 2 years from now, we might definitely see the benefits. It just depends on how quickly these video encoders are supported at a hardware level, whether it be on the Windows side or the Macintosh side. But now, it's time to turn our attention to deals of the week. The Canon EOS R5 is still on sale at $31.99, the R3 $47.99, and the Canon EOS R5C, the lowest price ever, at $35.99. The Nikon Z8 is still $300 off, the Nikon Z6 Mark II $400 off, as well as the Nikon Z7 Mark II, giving us hope that a refresh on the Nikon side isn't too far away. But all those sales that Sony had last week, they've ended. No sales on the a7S III, the a7 IV, the a7R5, or even the FX3 or the FX30. So if you're hemming and hawing on picking up one of those Sony cameras on sale, well, the decision's been made for you. The deals are off the table. But if you are looking at purchasing any camera gear, lenses, or accessories, then please consider using my affiliate links down below for Adorama, B&H, and Amazon.com. I get anywhere from 2 to 12% back, which goes right back to supporting this channel. And the best part is, it's a gift to you. It doesn't cost you anything extra. Clicking on these links doesn't require you to put in a code or fill out a page. It's no different than if you just, well, used a link from Google to go to B&H or Adorama. It's pretty simple, and then I just get anywhere from 2 to 12% back. So a big thanks to all of you that have used my affiliate links in the past. And even if you click on one of the links to the R5 and you end up purchasing the Nikon Z8 or a lens, it doesn't really matter. It's going to generate a small commission to me, and you're going to get your lens, your camera body, or accessory. So a big thanks to all of you that have used my affiliate links in the past, especially this weekend. And if you want to stay up to date on the latest and greatest, specifically regarding the Canon EOS R5 Mark II, then you're going to want to subscribe and follow me on X. And if you'll notice, I now have smart pre-order links down below for the Canon EOS R5 Mark II. You might be wondering, how on earth is that possible since we don't have the announcement? Well, that's why I call these smart pre-order links. They're not effective until after the embargo's lifted. Once the embargo's lifted, it'll show you every single SKU at Adorama and B&H. So Canon might release the EOS R5 body alone. Then they might also release another SKU with a, well, 15 to 35 or some other lens, and they might do a few of these. And then, of course, at Adorama and B&H, they might offer their own packages with different lenses, with maybe a camera bag, with maybe other accessories, and sometimes you can see as many as 5 or 6 different SKUs from one retailer for one single camera. So by copying down this particular smart link for Adorama and B&H and then storing them, bookmarking them, as soon as we get to the announcement, as soon as the embargo is lifted, keep refreshing those, and as soon as the pre-orders are available, you'll see every single pre-order available from your favorite retailer. So why? Well, what that allows you to do is get in the queue a little bit faster than everybody else. From what we've seen over the past 3 or 4 years, Canon can't seem to make enough lenses or accessories for all those popular cameras and lenses. And even this 200 to 800 millimeter, I have people that pre-ordered on November the 2nd that still don't have a shipping notice. That's pretty bad. So if you're really interested in the R5, or even if you're on the fence, go ahead and do the pre-order, note the shipping date, and as long as you cancel before the shipping date, you're off the hook. You don't have to worry about following through, but it gives you time to be able to think, because if you decide, if even just a day after the announcement by Canon, you want to buy the R5 Mark II, there'll be so many pre-orders that you likely won't get the camera for, well, several months. I would like to think it's a little bit sooner. I'd like to think that Canon's learned their lesson, but this 200 to 800 millimeter is proof that Canon is still having trouble meeting the demand of photographers, videographers, for both lenses and camera bodies. Really surprising that they're, and I guess it's a good sign that they're exceeding expectations, but on the customer experience side of things, there's nothing worse than waiting months upon months upon months. I mean, that was something we dealt with in 2020. We shouldn't have to deal with that anymore. Anyhow, thank you so much for tuning in. Have yourself a great day. We'll see you again soon. And right after this closeout, I'm going to have all the patent diagrams So you can take a look yourself, although I recommend bringing up Google Translate using the image, because some of the patent diagrams have Japanese characters in it, which are going to be a little bit hard to understand, especially those flowcharts.